After my husband betrayed me, I treated him to Vance 5-star meltdown. I came home from Vance's business trip and realized several pieces of designer jewelry were gone. At first I thought we'd been robbed, until I noticed half the condoms in my nightstand had vanished too. That was the moment I understood my husband had invited the thief inside. Iris is already suspicious and you still want me to come over? The night I left on my next trip, the security feed showed my best friend Lola twirling through my bedroom in my custom silk pajamas, playing seductress. You little temptress, and yet here you are. Relax, she'll never leave me. My husband reached for the nightstand with practiced ease and pulled out the gift I'd carefully prepared for them. I smiled coldly. Enjoy the Carolina extract, darling. Babe, have you seen my Cartier bracelet? I left it right on the nightstand. I clearly remembered slipping it off the night before I flew out, but I'd searched high and low and it was nowhere. This wasn't the first time jewelry had disappeared. Over the past months, Vance necklace here, Vance pair of earrings there, more than Vance dozen pieces in total worth hundreds of thousands. I used to tell myself I'd simply misplaced the little things. Now I wondered if we really did have Vance burglar. Haven't seen it. Maybe you forgot and put it somewhere else? Grant answered without looking up from his phone. Impossible. I'm positive I left it right here. Before I finished the sentence my body went rigid. Half the condoms in the drawer were gone. That discovery unsettled me far more than any missing diamonds. For the past 6 months Grant had complained of back pain and hadn't touched me once. I'd believed every word. Iris, what's wrong? He finally noticed I hadn't moved. Nothing. Maybe I left the bracelet at the hotel. I manufactured Vance's smile and quietly shut the drawer. I'll buy you an identical one tomorrow. Forget it. When something's lost, it's lost. Fate, right, Gran. T? I sat on the edge of the bed and stared straight into his eyes. Whatever you say. His gaze never flickered. My chest felt hollow, skewered by needles. I couldn't breathe, couldn't sleep, so I drove to Lola's. She'd been my college roommate for almost 10 years, my closest friend. We'd even bought houses in the same subdivision. Half her down payment had come from me. Iris? Why are you here so late? Lola opened the door, drowsy. I started to say I suspected Grant was cheating, but the words jammed in my throat. The Cartier bracelet I'd hunted for all evening was circling Lola's wrist. She tugged her sleeve down to hide it. Think what? Must be insomnia. Couldn't sleep, so I came to bug you. I breezed past her and collapsed on the sofa like always. Carry on, her husband said with Vance's polite nod, closing his laptop and retreating to the bedroom. You work too hard. How many times have I told you to slow down? Come, let's open some wine. Lola fussed over me, fetching Vance's bottle, then turned her back to slip the bracelet off and stash it in the sideboard. Not everyone has Vance's high-earning husband. If I don't kill myself at the office, Grant starves. I sipped the wine she poured and drained the glass. What had I ever loved about Grant beyond that brooding act and childhood nostalgia? He moaned about his back while living like royalty, daily workouts, designer clothes, whispering filthy compliments, yet never earned Vance's cent. My overtime paid for every luxury. You spoil him, Lola said, refilling me. Yeah, I do. Lola, I'm terrified of losing you. When I'm fried, you're the place I recharge. I gripped her hand, she flinched, then relaxed. I'll always be your safe harbor. She hugged me tight, heart hammering against my ear. Please, Lola, let me be wrong. It has to be Vance's mistake, right? Back home, Grant snored softly, oblivious to my return, so sure I'd never leave. I picked up his phone. I'd never snooped before, had never felt the need. I see her. Ched his chats with Lola, empty. Maybe I'd imagined everything? As I was about to lock the screen, Vance's green icon caught my eye. WhatsApp backup. 2. The fake backup was Lola in disguise. The messages made my stomach lurch. Getting hard seeing me in Iris's lingerie? She followed up with mirror selfies from her bathroom, half naked. So hot, wanna tear it off you now. Grant replied with Vance's string of eggplant and peach emojis. Don't bother, I'll do it myself. Then Vance's video, Lola swaying, stripping slowly until she was bare. Wicked little witch. Why steal Iris's stuff? Jewelry, bags, even her underwear? I love everything about Iris. I want it all, including her man. From the day I met Iris, I envied her, Lola said. But I knew I could never become her, so I decided to steal everything around her, piece by piece. Grant, do you love me or Iris? Off the bed I love Iris, on the bed I love you. Come here and let me show you exactly how much. My husband's still awake, I'll sneak over once he's out. I couldn't trust my own eyes. My face seared, my heart pounded so violently I had to press Vance's palm to my chest to keep it from leaping out. Breathe. Breathe again. I forwarded every line of their chat to myself, deleted the forwarding history, then slid Grant's phone back exactly where I'd found it. The man I loved most and the best friend I'd ever had, my two pillars, had betrayed me together. They'd been at it for an entire year while I'd noticed nothing. Iris, you're up early. Grant woke to find me perched motionless at the headboard. I stared at him, having sat there all night, my custom silk pajamas first soaked with tears, then dried stiff. Grant, if you ever left me, how would you survive? Silly thing to say. I'm never leaving. I've glommed onto you for life, impossible to shake me off. He leaned over, cradled my head with tender hands, and brushed Vance's kiss on my forehead. Why are your eyes so red? Bad sleep? It's nothing, drops will fix it. I turned away, padded to the bath, and sank beneath the water like Vance's drenched chicken that only knows how to flee. There's Vance's problem with the Xinjiang project, emergency trip. I fly to Chicago this afternoon. I installed HD pinhole cameras and Vance's cell jammer, triple-checked every angle, then packed in haste. You just got home and you're leaving again? I haven't even had Vance's proper hug. Grant nuzzled up from behind like Vance's clingy pup. Once this deal closes it's over. I'm exhausted, I'm about to resign. Resign? If you stop earning, what happens to us? His brows drew together. Grant, you're Vance's man. Time to shoulder some responsibility. But Iris, I'm your man. I know my baby's worn out. After Chicago take Vance real vacation, okay? He tucked Vance's strand of my hair behind my ear. The brush of his fingers scalded like Vance's hot iron, pure revulsion. Fine. I flung off his hand, shoved the door, and walked out. She's been weird these 2 days, Grant muttered, perched on the bed, Vance's towel the only thing around his waist. You're sure Iris suspects and you still invite me here? Lola stepped from the bathroom, untying my custom silk robe. It slipped to the floor, leaving her in nothing but my black lace set. Little devil, yet here you are. Relax, she can't quit me. That confident? What if Iris actually finds out? Impossible. Even if she does, she'll forgive me, she can't live without me, ever. Up here, little devil. Grant crooked Vance's finger, Lola slinked toward him, hips swaying. Downstairs in my car I watched the live feed, then glanced at Mason. Mason, if you want your wife spared, say the word. Iris, do you really think I care about her getting hurt? I loathe her, I want her dead right now. He slipped off his glasses, head falling back, 2 silent tears tracking down. All right, showtime. Grant reached for the nightstand and grabbed the condoms I'd so thoughtfully prepared. I had preloaded every single foil with Carolina extract, know.I'd at first, but seconds later the burn would tunnel straight to the bone. I flipped the jammer, number 911 calls for them. I'd also emptied the fridge and killed the main water valve, every last drop was gone. Grant smirked, clueless. I gave Vance cold smile. Enjoy the blaze. Ah. Grant. What did you use? It's killing me. Lola curled like Vance boiled lobster, scarlet from scalp to toe, hands clamped between her thighs. Ah. I don't know. What the hell? Grant tumbled to the rug, drenched in cold sweat, thrashing. We listened to their pig squeal shrieks, Mason and I. First thin grins, then full-throated laughter, huge, ragged, unstoppable. Revenge, clean, vicious, perfect. I laughed until tears came again, everything between Grant and me was ash. Water. Grant, get water, wash it off. Lola sobbed, reaching for him. Bathroom, move. Grant tried to lift her, but the pain folded him in half. Fuck. Lola, I can't, crawl. Get down and crawl. Grant, what sick stunt is this? I'm on fire. Gnashing their teeth, they inched down the hallway, screaming. At last they hauled themselves onto the marble, wrenched the faucet, nothing. No water? Are you kidding me? Grant, call 911, now. I'm dying, call. Shaking, he dragged himself back, stabbed at his phone, again, dead air. How is there zero signal? Nothing goes through. Grant, I'm gonna die, am I dying? Ice. Check the freezer, ice, bottled water, steaks, anything frozen. Another porcine shriek erupted from the bathroom. Yes, ice water. Grant slapped his forehead like Vance's drowning man grabbing driftwood and scrambled toward the dining room on all fours. When he reached the fridge and yanked it open, it was bare. I'd hidden Vance's camera inside, the lens stared straight at his face, and I caught every ounce of the despair in his eyes. Fuck. Empty. It's Iris, she's paying us back. The penny finally dropped, far too late. Grant, do something. I'm dying here, do something. Lola kept wailing. What am I supposed to do? Let's get to the hospital, he shouted, but the pain glued him to the floor. I can't move, I hurt everywhere. She stayed curled up, Vance shivering stray. Iris, brilliant move. Couldn't feel better. Mason beamed at me. High five. I lifted my hand, he slapped it hard. Showtime, audience is here, let's greet them. I stepped out of the car and walked toward my in-laws and Grant's assembled friends, smiling and waving. Mom, Dad, glad you could come. Iris, what's the big secret celebration that couldn't wait till morning? Helen asked, still smiling. I'd only told them Grant had prepared Vance's surprise and sworn them to secrecy. They'd kept the secret beautifully. Come upstairs, Grant's got Vance's huge surprise for everyone. Follow me. I led the pack into the elevator. At the same time Mason ushered Lola's parents, relatives, and friends up the second elevator. 4. When the doors slid open I pressed Vance's finger to my lips, hushing them. Convinced Vance's delicate surprise awaited, they tiptoed down the hall. I flung the door wide. Everyone froze. Grant, stark naked, was crawling toward the bedroom. Mom? Dad? What are you doing here? He ducked his head and cupped his groin. I hit the projector button, the loop of Grant and Lola's affair lit up the wall. You bastard, look what you've done. Richard clocked Grant across the face. Dad, stop. Call 911, I'm burning up. Please. Grant glowed lobster red. Meanwhile Mason had marched Lola's clan into the master bath. They found her miserable and just as naked. Shame, shame, Lola. You've disgraced the sterling name. Her father's blood pressure spiked. He stormed out, unable to look. Some onlookers, loving the drama, already had phones raised. Call 911. I'm dying. Grant begged, uncaring that he'd become Vance's zoo exhibit. How could you, Lola? Apologize to Mason, now. Sterling barked, yet she yanked Vance's sheet over her daughter to shield her from the stares. Mom. Mason. Help, call an ambulance. Lola whimpered. Only then did the parents realize this was no act. They dialed in frantic unison. Mission accomplished. I flicked off the cell jammer so the calls could go through. I didn't want corpses on my carpet. Iris. You did this, didn't you? Grant spotted me, eyes full of accusation. Am I the one who forced you into bed with her? Did I send the invitation? You two played house for Vancier while I was away. Did we hold the script? You idiots went wild between the sheets. Who knows what kinky stunt cooked you medium rare? Feel gross yet? I twisted the knife, steering the gossip toward their excesses. Damn, they went full freak show, can't even stand. Bet they wired up some cyborg toys. Probably OD'd on little blue pills, otherwise why the meltdown? Friends and family can only stay loyal so long, egged on by me, the commentary flew. With this audience tonight would be all over Riverdale by brunch. Scum. You dare blame Iris? Apologize, now. Richard whacked Grant twice more, shooting him Vance's look that said fix this. He knew I'd bankrolled their whole lifestyle. Vance goose this golden can't be replaced. Vance sucker like me, he was thinking, comes along once in Vance billionaire's lifetime. Iris, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Only then did Grant realize that this whole farce had been possible because I'd changed. I was no longer the Iris who swallowed every insult, who protected him at every turn, who couldn't live without him. 5. I ignored Grant's apology. The house was chaos, and I slipped through it. Soon the ambulance screamed to Vance stop downstairs. Grant's parents and Lola's parents wrestled clothes onto the two of them any which way, then watched the EMTs load the stretchers into the rig. When the show was over, the remaining friends and relatives buzzed their commentary and drifted away. Only Mason and I were left. Iris, what's next? Mason asked, slumped on the sofa, slipping off his glasses to rub the bridge of his nose. Divorce first. After that, one step at Vance time. I sat beside him, two casualties trading quiet recognition. Iris, after the divorce, would you ever consider, stop, just stop. I cut him off before he could finish. The air had already turned Vance's shade too soft, and I wouldn't let that tint deepen. Still, to be honest, Mason was handsome in Vance's clean-cut way, something in the jaw and the carriage that reminded me of Grant. Maybe Lola, in her silent race against me, had chosen Vance's man who looked like my husband on purpose. And, come to think of it, Mason might actually suit me better. Lola copied every move I made, so Mason had worked non-stop, built Vance's solid reputation in his field, given her the comfortable life she wanted. He'd even paid back the down payment loan almost immediately after their wedding. Mason and I were the earners, Grant and Lola were the spoiled leeches. If we even hinted at anything, people would swear we'd been sneaking around for months. I'm not feeding that rumor mill. I get it, he said, cheeks coloring. I only meant, when you're ready, whenever that is, think of me. Let the dust settle first, Mason. Want my divorce lawyer? She's top shelf, fast and ruthless. I veered us to safer ground. Did I even have the heart to start over? I didn't know, and I wouldn't promise him fog. Right now we sat close only because bruises recognize bruises. Yes, send her number. The sooner this ends the better. Lola won't sign willingly. Then sue. She cheated, she holds 0 cards. And I can hand you extra leverage. Oh? In the past year Lola lifted hundreds of thousands in designer jewelry from me, then posed in it for Grant. She gift-wrapped the evidence. I'll file Vance police report. Grand larceny, she'll do time. Vance convicted felon is Vance Breeze to divorce. Hesitating? You don't want her behind bars? I watched him stare at the carpet for Vance's long beat. We were married once. Maybe part of me pities her. But we're past that point. Mercy's just Vance's weapon other people wield against you. He lifted his head, the fatigue was still there, but behind it glinted steel. You're right. Pity is useless. Whatever you decide, I'm in your corner. 6 The next morning I walked into the hospital with the divorce papers. Iris, sweetheart, come sit. Your father and I lectured Grant all night. He knows he was an idiot. Forgive him this once, okay? Grant's mother grabbed my hands, effusive. I'd like to speak to Grant alone. Could you step out? I didn't call her mom, that title had expired. Of course. We'll be right outside. She ushered Richard out and closed the door. Iris, I'm sorry, please, forgive me. Grant lay pale against the pillows. Vance's suspended sheet draped his lower half, airing out, I assumed, since he wore nothing underneath. Does it hurt? I lifted the sheet for Vance's malicious peek. Bandages everywhere, nothing to see. The nurse had already told me, skin graft, no permanent structural loss, but months of healing. The new skin would never quite perform, every future attempt at sex would seethe with pain. It hurts, God, it hurts. But the body's nothing beside the heart. I hate myself for what I did to you. Tears pooled in his eyes. Save it. I'm not here for an apology. Let's end this. Sign. I laid the folder on the bedside table. He snatched my hand. I won't sign. You're not leaving me, Iris. Never. I'll never let you go. He pressed my palm to his chest like Vance's vow. I couldn't stomach his greasy sweet talk for another second. Looking back, it was almost funny. How had I ever enjoyed listening to this? I yanked my hand free. Grant, wake up. The days when you got to call the shots are over. I came to notify you, not to negotiate. Sign it and we both move on. Refuse, and I'll file for divorce. As the spouse who cheated, what exactly do you think your odds are? I've hired Vance's top-tier divorce attorney. She says that once we go to court she has Vance's 100 ways to turn Vance's scumbag like you into Vance's walking cautionary tale. I'd rather not go that far, so for the sake of whatever we once were, sign, walk away clean, and I might still respect you. Maybe one day I'll even change my mind. But if you won't sign and you force me into court, you'll be pushing me onto Vance's road of no return. From that moment on we're enemies. I laid the divorce papers on his chest and held out the pen. I'm not signing. Grant hurled the papers and pen across the room. Iris, you've already punished me. Look at the mess I'm in, aren't you satisfied? You ruined me and I kept quiet, and now you want Vance's divorce? Iris, what do I have to do to make this right? Sign like Vance grown up. Once we're divorced I'll finally breathe again. Grant, my assistant will pick up the agreement tomorrow. You'd better sign, or I'll file, and I'll make every dirty thing you've done headline news. Think it over. I turned and walked out of the ward. Iris, don't go, please don't leave. 7 Iris, even Vance's day as husband and wife builds Vance's 100 days of grace. Men make mistakes, life goes on. Grant loves you, only you. I'm his father, I know him. Calm down, stop throwing the D word around. Outside the room, Grant's father stepped into my path. Honestly, I'm not angry anymore. You two had better convince Grant to sign. Once he's publicly ruined, no woman will touch him for the rest of his life. I didn't linger. I left him standing there. I bought Vance's bouquet and headed to Lola's ward. Her bed had the same tent-like sheet over the lower half as Grant's. Lola turned her face away, but I arranged the flowers in the vase beside her like Vance's gracious visitor. Iris, you came to gawk, didn't you? Enjoy the show. Seeing me like this must make your day. She finally met my eyes, poison in every pore. Her burns were healing better than Grant's, These days Vance good plastic surgeon can rebuild Vance's face, sometimes even prettier, if you've got the cash. But without Mason, who'd foot that bill? Grant? Yes, I'm th. Rilled. My joy isn't your pain, Lola. It's finally seeing you and Grant for what you are. Up until now I believed you two were the most important people in my life. Can you imagine it, Lola? Being stabbed in the back by the two people you loved most? Let me tell you, it hurts Vance 1,000 times more than anything you felt last night. I settled into the chair beside her and smiled gently into her eyes. Iris, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Tears rolled down her cheeks. For Vance's second I almost believed them. Lola, spare me the apology, I don't accept it. You love stealing what's mine, right? Want everything I have? The rest is out of reach, but Grant, he's all yours. Congratulations and best wishes. I gave her Vance's radiant smile and walked out. In the end Grant signed. I'd already boxed up every trace of him and shipped it to his parents' house. The day he was discharged we met at City Hall and signed the final papers. Iris, I'm sorry. My heart has always been yours. Give me one more chance, let me win you back, take care of you, please? Outside City Hall he grabbed my sleeve. Grant, it's over. Some things, once lost, stay lost, it's fate. After her discharge Lola was driven straight to the precinct. Police had found the stolen goods at Mason's house. With the evidence I supplied, Vance's sentence came down fast. Mason filed for divorce while Lola was inside. Just as he predicted, she fought it, until Vance's few friendly check-ins in jail convinced her to sign. I sold the penthouse, quit my job, and pointed my car west for Vance's cross-country road trip. Fancy meeting you here. At Vance's rest stop in Xinjiang, Mason appeared behind me. Mason, are you following me? No, pure coincidence. How about we caravan? Safety in numbers. Fine, but it's just Vance's caravan. Don't get ideas. We looked at each other, and burst out laughing.